Little Timmy went to a car show with his dad. He watched as his father carefully checked each car, kicking the tires and looking under the hood. Curious, Timmy asked, "Dad, why are you doing that?" His dad replied, "I need to make sure the cars are in good condition before I buy one." Timmy thought for a second and said, "Oh no, Dad, I think the plumber wants to buy Mom." A young girl from a modest family dreamed of having a new doll for her birthday, so she asked her dad. He shook his head and said, "We don't have the money for that, honey." Why don't you write a letter to Santa Claus? Determined, the girl went to her room and wrote, "Dear Santa, I've been very good this year. Please bring me a doll for my birthday." Feeling unsure, she tried again. "Dear Santa, I've tried to be good lately. Could you please bring me a doll?" Still not convinced, she wrote, "Dear Santa, if you bring me a doll, I'll be the best girl ever." Frustrated, she had a mischievous idea. She sneaked into the living room, took the family's decorative elf on the shelf, and hid it in her closet. Then she wrote, "Dear Santa, I have your elf. Bring me a doll, or you'll never see it again." Sarah returned from college upset. "Dad, are you sure I'm your biological daughter?" "Kay," she asked. "Absolutely," he replied. "What's this about?" Sarah showed him her ancestry DNA report, which had no matches with their family but strong links to people in another town. Bewildered, her dad called her mom. "Dear, Sarah did a DNA test, and it seems she might not be ours." "Oh, that," her mom said calmly. "I've been meaning to tell you. When you were at work, I switched her with the neighbor's baby because ours was too fussy." A woman walked into a cafe with her dog and ordered, "I'll have a latte, and my dog wants a cappuccino." The barista frowned. "Sorry, no pets allowed." The dog barked, "That's unfair. Just get me my coffee." A barista laughed. "Nice trick, but no ventriloquists here. Out you go." The woman said, "No trick. I'll step outside, and you can chat with Sparky alone." She left, and the dog said, "So, about that cappuccino." Stunned, the barista poured it and said, "It's on the house. Do me a favor, go next door to the bakery and order a muffin. My brother works there. It'll blow his mind." The dog took a $10 bill and trotted off. Okay. When the woman returned, the dog was missing. They found Sparky in the alley, flirting with a poodle. "Sparky, what's this?" the woman exclaimed. "Ah!" The dog shrugged. Never had cash before. An employee approached her manager. I've been here 12 years. I think I deserve a raise." The manager sighed. "Times are tight." The employee nodded. "I get it, but for companies are after me, and I wanted to talk to you first." The manager said, "Your work is stellar. I'll give you a 15% raise and 3 extra vacation days. Which companies are chasing you?" The employee grinned. "The phone company, cable company, internet provider, and the bank." A girl invited her boyfriend over to meet her parents for dinner, saying it was a big step and she wanted to get serious afterward. Excited but nervous, the boyfriend, who'd never been with anyone before, visited a doctor for advice. The doctor spent an hour explaining safe practices and offered a small pack, a medium pack, or a bulk pack of protection. The boyfriend boldly chose the bulk pack, saying, "I'll need them all." At dinner, he met the girl's parents, and to calm his nerves, he offered to lead a meditation. He closed his eyes and meditated silently for 15 minutes. The girl whispered, "I didn't know you were so spiritual." He whispered back, "I didn't know your mom was a doctor." An elderly woman walked into a health store and asked for a vitality supplement. "How many?" the clerk asked. "Just a few," she replied. "I break them into small pieces." "Ah." The clerk frowned. "That's too small a dose to help with energy." The woman chuckled. "Energy? At 92, I just want to walk steady, so I don't trip on my slippers." A man wandered into a store, looking confused. A cashier asked, "Can I help you?" He said, "I need something for my wife." The cashier pointed to an aisle. Minutes later, he returned with a bag of cotton and some thread. The cashier said, "I thought you wanted something specific for her." He sighed. "Yesterday, I asked her for a soda, and she got me a bottle of syrup because it was cheaper. Okay? If I have to mix my own, so can she." Mrs. Thompson, retired for a year, suggested to her husband, "Let's take a romantic cruise and relive our honeymoon days." He nodded, went to the drugstore, and bought motion sickness pills and protection. Later, Mrs. Thompson said, "Why not a month-long cruise?" He returned 4 more pills and another pack. Then she proposed a world cruise. He bought a year's supply of both. The pharmacist finally asked Mr. Thompson, "If it makes you this queasy, why keep going?" He grinned. "It's the only way to keep her from feeling seasick." A man interviewed for a TV anchor job but kept blinking at the camera. The interviewer said, "You're great, but the blinking's an issue." Kay replied, "Easy fix, I take headache pills, and it stops for hours." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a handful of bandages, then more from another pocket, before finding the pills. After a flawless second take, the interviewer said, "Impressive. But we can't hire someone so reckless with all those bandages." The man protested, "I'm careful, I swear." The interviewer asked, "Then why all the bandages?" He sighed. "Try buying headache pills while blinking non-stop." A woman's car broke down on a rural road, and she asked a farmer if she could stay overnight. He agreed, but warned, "Stay away from my sons, Tom and Nate." She saw 2 young men inside and nodded. Later, she sneaked into their room and said, "Want to learn some fun tricks? But you'll need these." Ka. She handed them protection, and they had a wild night. Ka. Years later, Tom and Nate were chatting. Tom asked, "Remember that woman who showed us those tricks?" Nate nodded. "Do you care if she's okay?" Tom asked. "Nope," said Nate. "Then let's ditch these things." Dentist, noticing her patient's nerves, said, "Know how they make these gloves?" Workers dip their hands in a latex vat, let it dry, and peel them off. The patient stayed quiet, but burst out laughing mid-procedure. "What's so funny?" the dentist asked. The patient blushed. "I just pictured how they make balloons." Maria, a shy newlywed, was nervous on her wedding night at her parents' house. Her dad said, "Don't worry, Marco's a great guy. Go upstairs." When Marco removed his jacket, revealing tattoos, Maria ran downstairs. "Papa, he's covered in tattoos." Her dad said, "That's normal for strong guys. Go back." When Marco took off his shoes, showing painted toenails, Maria ran down again. "Papa, his toenails are painted." Her dad said, "Creative guys do that. Go back." Then Marco took off his shirt, revealing a scar. Maria ran down, shouting, "Papa, he's got a huge scar." Her dad said, "Stay here and mix the sauce. This is a job for Papa." A teen tried a crop top for the first time and asked her cousin, "Can you check if my bra shows when I lean forward?" He looked closely as she bent down and said, "Nope, looks fine. But next time, wear one." A man at the dentist panicked when he saw the needle. "No needles. I hate them." The dentist offered calming music, but he said, "Too distracting." The dentist asked, "How about a pill?" The man agreed. The dentist gave him a blue pill. Confused, the man asked, "Is this a painkiller?" The dentist smirked. "No, but it'll give you something to grip when I pull that tooth." A guy and a girl hit it off at a club. At her place, he took off his jacket, washed his hands, then removed his shoes and washed again. She said, "You're a chef, right?" Surprised, he asked, "How'd you guess?" She replied, "You keep washing your hands." After a passionate night, she said, "You must be an amazing chef." He grinned. "Why's that?" She laughed. "I didn't feel a thing." An Italian tourist met a stunning redhead at a cafe in Florence. They hit it off and went to his hotel. After a steamy night, he lit a cigarette and asked, "So, you happy?" She paused and said, "No." Determined, he tried again, lasting longer. He asked again, "You happy now?" She said, "No." Exhausted, he gave it one more go, then asked, "Happy now?" She looked puzzled and said, "No, I'm Irish." Tom met Lisa on a cruise and fell hard. Living nearby, they dated, enjoying hikes, theaters, and festivals. Tom felt Lisa was his soulmate. On their 2-month anniversary, at a cozy diner, Tom said, "Lisa, I'm crazy about you, but I'm obsessed with golf. I play it, watch it, read about it. If that's a problem, tell me now." Lisa smiled. "No issue. I love golf too. But I need to confess, worked as an escort for 3 years." Tom nodded. "That's okay. You're probably slicing the ball too much." A thief sneaked into a gallery but heard the guards sobbing, "10 years here, and no one remembered my birthday." Feeling bad, the thief scrapped his plan, marched to the manager's office, and burst in. The staff gasped. "How'd you get past the guard?" The thief said, "You folks need to appreciate your security team more." In Scotland, a golfer shanked his ball into a forest and found a fairy with a golf ball beside her. He revived her with water. "Groggy," she said, "you hit me, so you get 3 wishes." The golfer said, "I'm just glad you're okay," and left. The fairy thought, "Nice guy. Ow, give him what I'd want. Great golf, endless cash, and a wild love life." A year later, the golfer hit another bad shot and met the fairy again. She asked, "How's your golf?" He beamed, "I'm a pro now." She asked, "And your money?" He said, "I find $50 notes in my pockets all the time." She grinned, "And your love life?" He blushed. It's decent. She pressed, How often? He whispered, Once a month. Shocked, she said, That's it? He shrugged, Not bad for a monk. A pastor found a dead donkey in his churchyard and called the town hall. The mayor snapped, Isn't burying the dead your job? The pastor calmly said, Yes, but I always notify the family first. During a sermon, a pastor asked who would forgive their enemies. Half the congregation raised their hands. After another 10 minutes, 80% did. After 15 more minutes, all but one old man complied. The pastor asked, Mr. Smith, won't you forgive your enemies? He said, Don't have any. Amazed, the pastor asked, How old are you? 95, he replied. Please share your secret. Mr. Smith shuffled to the front and said, I outlasted them all. A student sat next to his professor at a campus cafe. The professor sneered, A hawk doesn't dine with a sparrow. The student replied, Then I'll soar away. Annoyed, the professor grilled him at the exam with tough questions, but the student aced them. Desperate, the professor asked, You find 2 bags, one with money, one with wisdom. Which do you pick? The student said, Money. The professor snapped, Wrong. I'd choose wisdom. The student shrugged, We pick what we lack. Furious, the professor scribbled fool on the exam. The student returned and said, Sir, you signed my paper but forgot my grade. A city lawyer went goose hunting in rural Manitoba. His shot landed in a farmer's field. As he climbed the fence, Farmer John rolled up on his tractor. This is my land, John said. The lawyer huffed, I'm a top attorney. Let me get my goose, or I'll sue you for everything. John grinned. We settle disputes with the 3-kick rule. I kick you 3 times. You kick me until someone quits. The lawyer agreed, thinking he'd outlast John. John's first kick, with heavy boots, hit the lawyer's shin. The second cracked his ribs. The third sent him face first into mud. Gasping, the lawyer stood and said, My turn. John smiled. Keep the goose. A conference. 3 assistants compared shady coworkers. The first said, Car dealers are the worst. Mine sell patched up vans that break down fast. The second said, My law firm's worse. Our attorneys defend those dealers and get them off. The third side, I bought a van like that. It died in the precinct lot. While I tried fixing it, a coworker backed into me and cited me for careless driving. I work for the police. A company hired former cannibals, saying, You're full employees, but no eating people. Weeks later, the HR manager said, An intern's missing. Did you eat them? The chief checked and swore, No, we're clean. HR let it go, but was suspicious. The chief whispered, Who did it? A tribesman admitted, I ate the janitor. The chief fumed, We've been eating consultants for weeks, and no one cared. You had to pick someone they'd notice. An agency found 3 job candidates. The manager said, Put 100 bricks in a room, lock them in 4 hours, then check. If they're counting bricks, assign them to accounting. If they're recounting, auditing. If they've trashed the room, engineering. If they're making weird patterns, planning. If they're throwing bricks, operations. If they're napping, security. If they've smashed the bricks, IT. If they're idle, HR. If they claim they tried stuff but didn't move a brick, sales. If they're gone, marketing. If they're staring out the window, strategy. If they're chatting with no bricks touched, promote them to management. A psychic went dress shopping. A clerk offered to grab more options. When she returned, the psychic said, "These won't fit, they're all extra large." The clerk insisted, "I've worked here years, they'll fit." The psychic smirked, "No chance." The clerk asked, "How do you know without trying?" The psychic winked, "I'm a medium." A trucker walked into a diner and said, "Gimme 3 hubcaps, 2 fog lights, and a side of fenders." The new waiter, puzzled, asked the chef, "Is this guy ordering auto parts?" The chef laughed, "No, hubcaps are pancakes, fog lights are eggs over easy, and fenders are bacon strips." The waiter nodded, served the food, and added a cup of chili. The trucker asked, "What's the chili?" The waiter grinned, "Thought you'd want to fuel up while waiting." A soap company had a problem. Empty boxes were slipping through, upsetting clients. The CEO spent millions on a high-tech scale that rang a bell and flashed lights when a box was too light, stopping the line for removal. It worked perfectly, no empty boxes shipped, and complaints dropped. But weeks later, the scale reported 0 defects. The CEO investigated and found a $15 fan blowing empty boxes off the line before the scale. The supervisor said, "Yeah, our intern, Joey, set it up." He was tired of stopping the line every time the bell rang.